Hello, my name is Joe Caton. I work with AARLCC in the Broward County Library System, and we've been tasked with bringing some of our business-related programs to you virtually. And so the first program that we've decided to put out to you is one about e-commerce and managing an e-commerce business. Through our Small Business Resource Center here at AARLCC and in Broward County Libraries, we have lots of resources for small businesses, whether you're starting or you're already there or you're looking to expand. There are lots of resources, not only here at the library, but online, and this is one of those resources. The class we're starting today is called The 6 Essential Lessons for Managing an E-commerce Business. Here's what is going on. E-commerce is spreading. We all know that, and we all have lots of things going on around the internet. We're all on the internet buying stuff on Amazon. We are on the internet trading things. We're on the internet now even having virtual meetings. So we know that the internet is going to be a big piece of the next phase of economics, both here in the US and around the world. We're going to start with an overview of an internet business. And there are some things that we need to get familiar with. One is transactions are being done online. We have now moved from the place where we go into a brick and mortar store, pay someone, take an item home with us, and we know the transaction is completed. Now we've gone online where different dynamics, including the coronavirus issue, has now driven lots of things online. So, in addition to the fact that we're seeing more transactions being done online, technology is something that's now necessary for survival. Companies no longer are looking at technology as something to put to the side. It is now part of every business's survival strategy. It is no longer that we are conducting transactions in person or in something we call static technology, but it's now mobile technology. Our cell phones, our tablets, laptops that we take with us from one place to the other. So using mobile technology is now a part of surviving. There's a term you're going to hear very often in this class and as you listen out there. That term is disruption. What is disruption? Disruption is where we're used to going about our merry way and something happened like the coronavirus and boom, it has disrupted our daily activity. Well, in the e-commerce business, most of the big successful organizations are known as business disruptors. Here's an example. Many companies were going along their merry way selling books in a brick and mortar store, places like Barnes and Noble. And along came this little startup company several years ago called Amazon. Amazon started selling books online. Well, that's an example of a disruption of a business. Another example would be if you were a taxi driver. As a taxi driver, you know what your business is all about. But along comes this little startup company called Uber and later on Lyft, and suddenly your transportation business has been disrupted. So e-commerce is actually considered a disruption of many brick and mortar types of businesses. Understand that a business, before it can be an e-commerce business, must first be a business. There must be a logical business model behind whatever your e-commerce business is. For example, if you are selling used cars, that is a business. That business has to be established with a good business model before you can then take it to the e-commerce space. So please understand that we must first plan our businesses before we can call them an e-commerce business venture. Privacy and security becomes a big issue. They are trade-offs of convenience. When you have a small business or a larger business for that matter, and you're in some way on the internet conducting transactions, there are all kinds of security issues that may include fraud, privacy, people's lost money in some way or the other, and therefore there is a trade-off of convenience, and we're going to talk about that later on in this course itself. And finally, regulations. Regulations are coming. In the e-commerce space right now, it's not very heavily regulated, but regulations will come, especially as more business disruptions begin to take place. What we're going to do at this point is go through real quickly what are the 6 modules of this class. The 6 modules are: number 1, define your business model. As I mentioned earlier, if you're going into the e-commerce space, you must first have a rational, logical business model. Your business model may be that I make hand-sewn craft and I sell it to other people. That's your business. Then we're taking a craft selling business and moving it into the e-commerce space. If you are in the business of buying used computers and fixing them up and selling them, then that's your business. You're just taking it into the e-commerce space. So first, define your business model. Next thing is competitive pricing. This is very important to understand. Competitive pricing in the e-commerce space is something that is very transparent. There are very few opportunities to sell an item online at a price significantly more than what other people are selling it for online. So you have to be aware of that kind of transparency in pricing, and that is our second module. Our third module is marketing. Marketing one's business on the internet is slightly different than in person or some other media. The fact is that on the internet, people are bombarded by ads all day long. And so on the internet, your ads have to be precise and they have to speak specifically to the needs of your customers. We're going to talk about that when we get into module number 3. Module 4 has to do with security and fraud that we talked about before. It's a responsibility that nobody wants. However, it's a responsibility that we all have, and we have to take it seriously in the e-commerce business. The next module is about Uncle Sam and Uncle Sam's involvement. Uncle Sam wants his cut regardless of how much money we make. And one of the biggest issues that you're going to have to face in the coming years is the fact that taxation is changing on the internet. And as taxation changes, your business model may have to adjust. You'll have to determine, am I located in a state that collects sales taxes for online transactions? Am I in a state that does not? And what does that mean for my business operations? And then finally, we're going to talk in module 6 about something called a merchant account. A merchant account and the supply chain that it supports becomes the bread and butter of your business. We've noticed since this coronavirus has hit us, for example, a lot of something has happened out there called broken supply chains, because many businesses today have moved to something we call, up in the ivory towers of operations management, we call it JIT, JIT. No, that's not a street term. JIT means just in time inventory. So nobody is storing inventory anywhere anymore. They're simply relying on their supply chain to always fill their orders. So if somebody comes to me and want to buy something, I know I have a supply chain that I can call on them to supply me right away. I can make this product and sell it. JIT, remember those letters, just in time inventorying. That's the reason why so many of us got caught flat footed when it came to things like masks, gloves, other protective gear for people in the front line of fighting the coronavirus. It's because no one keeps a warehouse full of materials to make masks anymore, unless they are selling it to other people, and therefore the supply chain and merchant accounts become two of the biggest pieces of discussion, and that is what we pick up in module number 6. So I look forward to sharing these 6 modules with you on e-commerce, not just e-commerce, but conducting business online. Once you get a handle on online business, then you can start to make some of those fine-tuning decisions that would move your business from brick and mortar into the electronic commerce space. So we'll see you for module 1.